Not locally. I mean, like, there's a lot of consumption of foreign, predominantly US podcasts.
I'm sure, yeah.
But I wouldn't say there's
like
any,
all the rest of our culture, right?
Yes, exactly. I wouldn't really say there's many popular or notable Kiwi podcasts, so to speak.
So actually, New Zealand's use the term Kiwi to self-reference?
Yeah.
How do you refer to the fruit?
Kiwi fruit.
Oh, you have to say the word fruit on the end of it. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you probably do, though, actually.
Because otherwise people
wouldn't say, I'll have a kiwi.
Dustin, I was wondering, is
it's
it
pronounced Feneley?
Feneley? I was going to say Feneley.
You can drop the one or two E's, basically. Yeah,
I got you, Feneley. Well, it's nice to meet you.
Oh, nice to meet you.
This kind of fell together nicely, didn't it? You think about back in our parents' generations, the idea of trying to figure something out like this would have been far more involved, right? You'd have to leave messages. There was no email. There was no cell phones, no texting, obviously, along with no cell phones, but there was no... So we would have probably through phone calls, through the publicist...
Telegrams.
Anyway, so you're from where in New Zealand, Dustin?
Auckland.
Okay, well, everybody's heard of that.
Yeah.
Is that the largest city in New Zealand?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, in the near the top of the North Island of New Zealand.
Okay. Is most of the industry in the north?
Yes,
okay.
Definitely, yeah.
Okay.
Auckland and Wellington, so, yeah.
Okay. It holds a lot of mystique for a lot of curious Americans, especially in New Zealand.
Yeah.
So it would be great to get to do a trip one day. I'm sure Auckland has a great film festival, in fact.
Yes. So the New Zealand International Film Festival, which runs July, August, September every year, that plays in multiple cities and towns, starting in Auckland.
Oh, very good. And when is that?
July, August, September. It runs for a long time, yeah.
Did Stray end up in that festival last
year?
It
did. So last
winter.
Yeah, that's right. Our winter. Right. Yeah. It played there and did really well.
Oh, it did?
Lots of sold-out sessions, which then led to a national cinema release.
All right, I have another question. This is just me being curious about your culture and film culture specifically. Is Stray, the actors, I'm not familiar with them. Why would I be? You're using local actors, I assume. I assume they're professionals because they're quite good. One of the reasons I invited you on is I'm always happy to see a film that is solidly acted. All you need is one bad link in the chain, and the film is compromised. Yeah. That's not the case with Stray. I really enjoyed it. There's great big parts of the film that are silent, but but really well acted. Are those actors working? Are they on New Zealand television? What's the situation with some of your actors?
So the lead actor, Kieran Charnock, who plays Jack, I auditioned about 200 young actors in the 18 to 24-year-old age range. And prior to that, Kieran had done a couple of short films and played a supporting role in a New York-based filmmaker's film, shot in New Zealand, made in New Zealand, called The Rehearsal, Alison McLean's film, the director who made Jesus' Son. So she's a Kiwi by birth.
That just went through the festival circuit recently too, no?
Yeah, about 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago, The Rehearsal. So he had a small role in that, but that will premiered at New Zealand Film Festival while we were shooting Stray. So I didn't get to see him in his first feature role before I'd cast him as the lead in my film.
He just got in by his audition.
His audition was just
really
incredible. His self-tape was amazing.
Let's just describe, while we're on this already talking, Jack, his character.
Yeah.
Is recently released from prison.
Yeah.
Where he served a sentence. We don't know why.
Yeah.
But this is his re-entry into civilization. Back into life, and he's still a very young guy.
Yeah, absolutely. So the film does begin.
Your ride is here. Can we hold off on that?
Yeah.
Can you tell them that you're going to run a few minutes late? We are at the Brooklyn Film Festival, by the way, where to get to the red carpet, most people get airdropped. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
So the film begins with the character of Jack, who's on parole, having served 3 years in prison for a serious crime of grievous bodily harm. But we're not totally aware of all of the circumstances that have led to this point. But
Yeah, which I appreciate whenever a film does that.
Yeah, right.
You
that's
lean
good.
into the film rather than, manipulate.
Being spoon-fed. Yeah.
I mean, you could still argue it's a manipulation. Of course it is. That's your job. But
yes.
But anyway.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's the kind of films that I like too. Films that are more open, make you sit forward, intrigue you through their mystery or what's
work
not
a little
said
bit towards how things are playing out.
Yeah, totally. And then the lead actress Ada Dobroshi's she's not from New Zealand. She's actually from Kosovo in the Balkans, and she came over for it. And so I saw her in the Dardenne brothers film Lorna's Silence back in 2008, and was like, she plays the lead title role in that, and I was just wow.
Which one?
Lorna's Silence, or The Silence of Lorna, the Dardenne brothers film.
I saw it, and I didn't put the two together.
Yeah. Well, she has in that film she has a very short haircut.
Okay.
I
did see
that. So I kind of wrote her like a love letter. Basically, I offered her the role. Just said, I think
it's yours if you want it.
Yeah. And luckily, I only had to wait a week, and she said yes, and then flew all the way to New Zealand to make it. Yeah.
Wonderful.
So that was great. Yeah.
It's nice to when that happens. But, I don't suspect a lot of actors get that. I mean, there's a small population of people that, obviously have made it to this level where they obviously don't have to audition, et cetera.
Yeah.
But most actors, including, I'm sure, what's her name again? The
Ada Dobroshi.
That she probably typically does need to,
yes.
if it's a bigger title, if it's a bigger budget.
Yes.
Anyhow. But this film, Stray, which is having its U.S. premiere at the Brooklyn Film Festival, and I'm going to also say there's a screening on Tuesday
night at 8 p.m. and Wednesday night at 8 p.m. The first screening on Tuesday night is at the Wythe Hotel. The Wednesday night screening it is Made in New York Media Center by IFP in Dumbo.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
I memorized that.
It's at the Made in New York Media Center?
Yeah, on Wednesday night at 8, yeah.
I didn't know they were using that venue.
Yeah, it's the only film from the whole
How did that
program, I
happen?
believe, that's... I'm not sure. I didn't organize it, but...
Maybe they made a mistake and they overbooked something, and then
maybe.
they reached out to... I vaguely, I want to say, had some sort of connection to Made in New York Media Center, but good for them for... supporting the Brooklyn Film Festival, I suppose. A history, by the way, Brooklyn Film Festival used to take place, this is like 10 years ago, if that long, when people still had film.
Yeah, right.
That they would use this now, it's no longer there, but there was a place called the Brooklyn Heights Cinema.
Mm-hmm.
In guess what neighborhood?
Brooklyn Heights, maybe?
Well done. And they could play film.
Yeah.
They could project film. So they were involved in the Brooklyn Film Festival. That ended well before even the Brooklyn Heights Cinema went away. But anyway, that's a little bit of Brooklyn Film Festival history for those listening. Now it's all in Williamsburg primarily, except for or Greenpoint, except for this bit that
Dumbo
you mentioned. So again, that's Tuesday night at 8.
Yep, at the Wythe.
At the Wythe Hotel. Go check it out. It's probably in their cinema downstairs this time.
Is, yeah.
Oh, that's better.
Yeah,
the sound will be better.
Rake seating, surround.
It'll be better situated. Yeah, and then you said Wednesday night at what time?
8 p.m. as well.
At 8 p.m. at the Made in New York Media Center in Dumbo. They have a nice screening room as well.
Yeah.
You actually, I think it's worked out well. You're in two legit cinemas, that are set up for optimal sound and projection. So good, and that's great because this film, I should also add, looks way above whatever budget you have. I mean, it looks spectacular. You're shooting in what I understand is historically like the great vistas of New Zealand.
Yeah. So we shot
the other star of the film. You
mentioned two.
Really this is the third one.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we're shooting in the central Otago region of the South Island of New Zealand. So that landscape or landscapes have been featured in films like Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. Obviously, our film is...
with those. Are they good?
Small Kiwi films. So, in stunning alpine landscapes, fairly isolated landscapes. Mm-hmm. But yeah, our film is definitely not The Hobbit.
Jack, who's on parole, as you mentioned, I assume he's breaking his parole agreement by going up to that section of the country.
Yeah, correct.
And to what appears to be the area or the community where he grew up or lived prior to his arrest, right?
Yeah.
And that his family there and a lot of ghosts.
Yes. Yeah, it's a complex thing. he's fleeing and retreating to the wilderness to somewhat unconsciously perhaps repair himself by the beauty of nature, but in so doing he's also very close to the scene of the crime where all this stuff went down, so there's a tension in that.
What is the span of time? I saw this a few weeks ago, but what?
It's deliberately ambiguous.
Okay,
a lot of people,
as is a lot of film.
like, does it take place over just several days?
Yes.
Or is it more like weeks? I feel like it's more the latter.
Oh, you do feel it's weeks?
Yeah.
Okay, I felt days, but then I have to see it again.
Yeah. Because there's quite a little bit of a, like, ellipses in the film.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
You know, you thought when we were communicating in the last 48 hours since you arrived in the States, you didn't think I saw it, just so you thought I reached out to you based on what?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I thought perhaps maybe just because it was...
Just reaching out to a lot of filmmakers?
No, I just thought that because it was a New Zealand film, and from what I was told, it's the first New Zealand film to ever play Brooklyn Film Festival, that in and of itself might make
They
it
also just got the
interesting.
first U.S. film at the Brooklyn Film Festival, so don't...
Right.
No, it's not true. That's not true. Well, it's the best thing I've seen of what I've seen.
Yeah, cool.
Which is only a handful of films, but
yeah.
I definitely thought... And then, yes, I do like the idea of bringing on an international filmmaker, because this show that I do is primarily U.S. filmmakers. So it's hard to bring on somebody who doesn't speak English or has a really thick accent.
Yeah, right.
Well, you have an accent, of course, as I do.
Yeah,
I'm sure you would say I do.
Yeah.
But it's nice to bring on English-speaking foreigners or as well. So that holds some intrigue. But seriously, your minimalist approach, your spare style with this film, I haven't seen other works that you've done, but really works well.
Oh, great. I'm
given the
glad.
Landscape, given the story.
Yeah, I'm
tension
glad.
You create.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely that sensibility and approach, directorially and cinematography-wise, is something I developed over about 6 or 7 shorts, and then this is my first feature, and so being able to play with space and time in that minimalist sense on a much bigger canvas of 140 minutes was like really far more enjoyable. I always found making short films a little bit restricted by the form, because it just really restricted. So yeah,
very good. I'm noticing that the Brooklyn Film Festival drumline is approaching. So shall we actually confess that we're in Central Park right now?
Yes.
And I'm looking down at rather picturesque rowboats on the pond in Central Park, and we're at a really lovely little spot here just by the Bethesda Fountain, and today there's some sort of Jewish parade going on Fifth Avenue, but we'll see if this confession makes it into the final edit. So is Stray, this is what I was actually trying to get at, and I apologize for straying from my subject, but is this considered by New Zealand standards an independent film, or is this considered just a typical byproduct of the New Zealand cinema? Obviously, you mentioned the Lord of the Rings, which is an international production.
Absolutely.
It does not. It's not. No. Can even be compared to anything like that.
No, I would say the film is atypical simply because the vast majority of local New Zealand films, i.e. non-international studio films that are shot in New Zealand, most New Zealand feature films are government funded. So much like Australia or parts of Europe, it's, taxpayers' money, and there's a film commission that gives grants or investment to production.
Right.
Our film was made independently of that traditional system.
It is. Stray was made outside of it was made truly independently by yourselves. Yeah. By yourself and your team.
Yeah.
And then, obviously, this doesn't impact getting into the New Zealand Film Festival.
No, absolutely not.
So, did you grow up, like I assume most filmmakers, did you grow up with American films or filmmakers as a real big influence on?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say, the contemporary American filmmakers that have inspired me the most would be filmmakers like Kelly Reichardt.
Really?
Yeah,
Who's
big
done
time.
The show before, by the way.
Oh, cool.
But I know as a regular listener, you probably know that.
Yeah, and Gus Van Sant.
He did my show too.
Yeah. Oh, wow, cool.
Excited.
Good. I'm thrilled to be in the company.
Kelly and Gus.
Yeah, that's right. Best mates.
Did you see his last film?
No, I haven't seen his most recent
Where You
film.
Won't Get Far on Foot.
No, I haven't actually seen that.
Even though it's a dark subject, it's actually it is dark, but it's not like as dark as He's Gone. Not nearly.
Yeah.
But in a way, it's almost has a happy ending to it.
Yeah.
It's a good film though.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I'll check it out. Definitely check it out.
Yeah, I know it's an Amazon film, so I'm sure you can get it.
Oh, yeah, it's easy to get. Yeah.
Well, those are two very good filmmakers that I also I really respect and love seeing their films.
Yeah, and I guess they're not American, but I mean, I think one of the filmmakers that definitely, two filmmakers that really inspired me when I was at film school, which kind of changed my perception of what a film could be, would be Tarkovsky and Kieślowski. I remember studying those films, and before going to university and film school, thinking that movies were pretty much a set thing, like that what I wanted or sought from the cinematic going experience was one thing, and then I saw those films and it completely broke open the form of what I expected in a film, or that it wasn't basically just escapism or entertainment or something to pass the time that's enjoyable, that it could really speak to my soul, and there's a level of existentialism and mystery, and they just really transcendent and meditative. Absolutely.
Right.
And I could have arrived at other filmmakers. It's just that at that formative stage, I saw their body of work, and was just like, wow.
On the way over, actually, coming into Manhattan today, I was listening to another somebody else's podcast, just so happens, and they were talking about Solaris.
Yeah.
And speaking of Tarkovsky, and this guy, he's a screenwriter who was talking, and he said, he would make these movies that by most accounts you would consider boring, but if you boring because they're slow, laborious, they're
rigorous.
Yeah. But if you go into it accepting it and being okay with that, instead of tons of edits and just action, but if you're open to it and just say, let's just indulge, the payoff by the end is just so tremendous, and then it becomes what you just described. It stays with you for the rest of your life.
That's exactly right. Yeah. Rather than just the 90 or 120 minutes that you were watching it as a live thing.
Right.
That's the thing that was like the game-changing thing for me.
Well, there's junk food and there's nutritional food, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the same principle where nutritional food right, that's right. Well, nutritional food gives you life.
Yep.
Junk food's made for immediate gratification.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
And Tarkovsky's definitely not junk food.
Yeah,
you can describe it. You may not like it, but it's
not a happy meal.
No, that's right. Anything but. But it inspired me just thinking about it, and then I went back to read up about it again. Like I was reading about Tarkovsky literally on the way here, and I just was like reading about Solaris again because it's been a while, and I was like, I've got to really go back. I recently bought a projector.
Oh, cool.
And because I get so many links. Like I saw Stray on a link.
Yeah.
And the idea of seeing it on a much bigger projection, even if it's obviously I'm not in a movie theater, but with good speakers or my real headphones, and I can watch it. I feel like now I feel less guilty about asking or getting links from filmmakers.
It's a great thing to hear, because having made a film for the big screen, landscape format, it's terrifying to me that people are only consuming this film on an iPad or on a 13-inch MacBook or something like that, or off their phone, because I don't think that this film can be really, to be frank, appreciated very well on a small screen.
Not this one, because it isn't about. It's not just. It's really actually more of a character-driven film, and. There's a nice little cardinal sitting on the branch over there.
Oh yeah, cute.
So it's more about characters, development, and there is some and cinematography, and there's a lot of, like I said earlier, silence. So you really do need to appreciate. It really needs to be appreciated on as big a screen as you can.
Yeah.
And so hopefully that'll be the case with your two screenings on Tuesday and Wednesday this coming week at the Brooklyn Film Festival with Stray. Well, this was a pleasure meeting you, Dustin. And
thanks for having me.
Yeah, next time we'll do it again. I'm happy to bring you on for your next project.
All right, I'll make that next film.
Yeah, okay, sounds good.